Hello friends, welcome once again to Let's Play some Brainlord. Actually, what I decided to do tonight was to do a brief tutorial on how to take apart, clean, and reassemble the Ruger p90 .45 ACP caliber handgun. So, first and foremost, rule in handling any firearm is to make sure to keep the muzzle, that's the end that the bullet comes out of, in a safe and deliberate direction. That being said, the next step is to check the status of it being loaded. So first you're going to remove the magazine. No bullets in there. You're going to do a press check. Slide the slide back. You can see there's clearly no bullets hiding out in there either. So we're all clear. So first off, in order to take this guy apart, now that we've made sure that it's all clear, we're going to go ahead and press down this little black mechanism inside of here. And I tell you what, when I first got this firearm, man, I tried taking out the takedown pin and sliding it back and forth and pulling the trigger and doing all kinds of stuff, and I could not get this thing apart. And it took me quite a while to figure it out. Actually, it's kind of silly, but anyway, this little piece here, you just press it down until it stops, kind of folds over forward and clicks. Now we're free to take and just press down this little button right here, which is the takedown pin. Relieve tension off of it just a little bit, and that guy slides right out of there, and the slide will come off forward. Now what we have left is what's called the slide assembly and the frame assembly. Frame assembly is actually really requires a minimal amount of care. You know, I mean, the whole gun really requires a minimal amount of care, but in particular because all this stuff, the frame and the hammer assembly, trigger assembly, all this stuff just kind of stays together. And what I usually do is a combination of Q-tips, old rags, and a little bit of Remington Rim oil, just to kind of, you know, dab a little oil on your Q-tip there and just kind of go around the little surfaces. The main areas that you want to concentrate on to keep your firearm functioning properly is the slide grooves, located right here, there, and there. Sometimes especially this being an aluminum frame, it will kind of, you know, eventually it'll build up little dust and grit and kind of gum up the operation of the slide, sliding back and forth on it. So the cleaner you keep that, with just a slight amount of residual oil being left on those parts, the more likely your firearm is to cycle freely and consistently. So anyhow, so after you remove the slide from the frame, go on ahead and just kind of take a look at everything. You know, just take a gander and, you know, look for any little greasy spots. You know, take your rim oil there and just kind of polish up the internal portion of the gun. You know, I mean, you don't really want to leave any standing puddles of oil or anything on your firearm, on the internal components, because really all that's going to do is just collect dust. It's going to create greasy, oily mud on the inside of your gun, and that's exactly what you don't want. So go ahead and clean it off with the oil, and then take your rag, and also you can take a clean Q-tip for more precise application, and then just wipe down all the areas that you've cleaned with the oil, so you get to a pretty dry state. And this gun oil is actually designed to where it'll penetrate into the pores of the metal, and so it's being pretty much, the surface is being protected and lubricated from the inside of the metal. So you don't really have to worry about keeping it all greasy and oily. You can actually clean it off pretty good, and it'll stay lubed up. So anyhow, slide assembly. What we'll go ahead and do Now is we have our recoil spring in position. We're going to go ahead and just reach in there, grab it, and pull it out. Piece of cake. You know, I mean, you want to do kind of an idle inspection of your spring. You know, it's pretty easy to tell if there's something wrong with it. You know, the only thing that can be wrong with it is it's either weak, or you know, a little bit compressed, or broken. You know, and if there's anything wrong with the spring, you'll know right away, just because it won't allow the gun to cycle properly. You know, and you're just not going to be doing a whole lot of shooting, you know, with a bad recoil spring. So anyhow, up next, you can just reach in, grab your barrel, take it out of there, and it's okay if the barrel's pointing at you now, because you know, it's just a little piece of tubing, so it's obviously nothing in the either end of it. Barrel, you just kind of look down, check the rifling out, you know, make sure everything's nice and smooth, not a whole lot of scoring going on in there. Don't want to see any residual particles of black powder, or not black powder, but gunpowder, you know, left in there, because it'll eventually cause corrosion, and you know, clean gun's a good one. So anyway, you want to go ahead and make sure that that's all good.